Thank you to everyone who donated to the food drive.
And we have two speeches today, so we're going to start with speeches first. Before
My mom is bipolar, but it makes me stronger. I am one of the most optimistic people I know, staying positive even though I've been through rough times. When I was in 4th grade, my family did not know about my mom's mental illness until later that year. I had always had a bond with my mom that, Okay. I had always told my mom about everything, from crushes to mean girls at school. She had been going out a lot and always wanted to go on adventures with me, which was great, but she took me out of school sometimes, which was frowned upon by my teachers. Some days I wouldn't see her at all because she would only come home for a short period of time, around 10 p.m. Then she would go back to partying or hang out with friends at a bar. My family and I were very affected by this. It seemed like my mom didn't want to be a part of our household anymore. And even though I was also living with my grandparents, I didn't have my mom anymore, the main outlet which I would talk to about my feelings. My friends always used to call me the happiest person they had ever met because even though I had divorced parents and many other things out of the ordinary in my family situation, I was always genuinely happy. But when I stopped seeing my mom as much, I became sad. I don't know if anyone ever noticed, but I became more introverted and insecure at the end of 4th grade. I kept my feelings in because I didn't have friends who had gone through something like this, or at least told me they had. And after all, we were only 4th graders. After about a month of my mom going out for days at a time, after a horrible night with yelling and screaming, we finally convinced her to go to the hospital. The waiting room we were put in was cold and empty, and I got shivers on my back while wiping my tears away. When the doctors came out and told my brother, my grandparents, and I her diagnosis, I didn't know what to think. I just wanted my mom back, the person who I had known for all my 10 years on this earth. She got medication, and after some time, she was back to her former state. My mom will never be normal, but that is okay. She has made a lot of positive changes throughout the years and is working on becoming her best self and alleviating the harm caused by the time spent away from us. My family has had struggles with my mom's mental illness every year. We have been through a lot of foggy nights with fighting, harsh words, and lots of tears. Even though this happens sometimes, and our family dynamic is imperfect, we get through it and move on. I love my family so much and was born into it for a reason. Looking for that reason is a long process, which I am not halfway through figuring out. But this is what I know. My mom is the most wonderful person I have in my life, and I have a bond with her that nothing can break. I have learned so much from her, be it what to do or what not to do. My mom is bipolar, and it makes me stronger.
Some days I look back at my childhood with misty eyes. These are the days in which I miss Sam the most. Sam spent a large amount of time at my house, and whenever he was there, we would retreat into the evergreen forest surrounding my home. There we spent hours upon hours swatting and stabbing each other with sticks, fancying ourselves warriors of a different time. I distinctly remember the way the trees danced to the melancholy tune of the wind, and how the clouds sat lazy in the April sky. We went there every day, and every day we created some new fictitious adventure in which we were king. No longer children in a low-class country town, but knights and lords who survived through countless adventures. Sam was my best friend. Not only were we comrades in the same fantasy world, but also teammates on the same Little League baseball team. I can still see the field in which we played our home games, feel the coarse dirt which would trap itself between our cleats, and smell the scent of freshly cut grass which wafted through the air. I have an abundance of memories. both good and bad. And there's a time where I let myself drown in these memories, not attempting to pull myself to safety. I truly love this land of rolling gold hills and crystal clear oceans, even more than I did the transformation of leaves during the changing of summer to fall. I consider California my home, but there was a time when I wondered if this beautifully strange country was worth losing Sam as my friend. When I left Sam in that town, when I left him for California, I felt as if I had been torn in half, leaving part of me behind. I would only think about California. I would only think about Massachusetts and Sam, and I let my grades slip away, and I stopped trying cross country, which resulted in many lectures from my parents. I didn't listen to them. All that I could think about during these talks was the question: who could be compared to Sam? I remained in the state of anger and frustration for the first 3 months of my stay here, until Halloween night of last year. That day, I was especially gloomy as my friends back in Massachusetts were throwing a Halloween party. I ambled around the house, dampening the mood of my family. That all changed that cold October evening when a group of friends and I engaged in a childish game of ding dong ditch around the neighborhood. For reasons at that time I could not understand, I became happy. It would not be 5 months into the future till I could point out the source of that sudden burst of happiness. In the March of 2016, I became enlightened. I learned that as nice as it is to indulge yourself in happy memories, if you stare too long, you will lose your sight of the future. Today, I don't think about my past home at all. I only look towards the future, and I plan to do that for the entirety of my life.
If you're feeling stressed about finals, you should consider going to chess club tomorrow.
Chess club is going to be meeting tomorrow, the X day in the Commons, and hopefully somebody brings the boards. I mean, we brought them last time, but we brought them like really late. It was very sad.
Girls soccer had our first 2 games last week, and we won them both. We have another game today at 3:30, and so girls, please get out of class at 2:30 and be up at the field by 2:45. And Key Club is also having a meeting today in room 4 at lunch. Please be there, or tomorrow. Please be there, or at least respond to the email we sent out. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know that a lot of us are probably feeling stressed by finals, 3-hour tests. A lot of us are probably feeling a little worried, and a lot of us may want to kind of get as far away from it as possible. That's why all of you should come to Aviation Club at lunch, because we are going to be going to the moon virtually.
Okay, thank you to everyone who donated to the toy drive. We got a lot of toys for the foster kids at the Kinship Center. The seniors donated the most toys, and so there will be free pizza for the seniors in the quad tomorrow. Thank you.
Tomorrow during lunch, Spanish Club is putting on a bake sale. All the money that we raise will be spent on teddy bears, and we're going to bring those teddy bears to a hospital in Salinas around the holidays for the pediatric unit. So please support Spanish Club and eat some yummy goodies. Okay, so we're going to be cleaning out the lost and found. I'm not sure which day, but it'll either be at the end of this week, Tuesday. So next Tuesday we're going to be cleaning out the lost and found, so
Come check it out. I don't know if you've lost stuff, but please check. Someone has.
The freshman class will be selling pizza at lunch today.
And it's $2 a slice, so come support.
So for those of you still in JSA, as annoying as it is, Winter Congress early registration deadline is during winter break. That means you have to get your permission slip and your check in before we go. You can do that by either getting it in to me, or to JoJo,
or to Helena, and you pay way less if you turn in early, so do that.
When is winter coming?
sometime. Yay.
Also, all you in, get your money.
Sophomores are selling pizza in the Commons tomorrow too, $2 a slice.
I'd like to talk a little bit, really briefly, about video games on campus. And I want to draw two very clear lines about use of video games on campus. First, I want to say I had the opportunity last week to observe Mr. Daniels' class and the use of innovative technology, including video games, in his class with the use of Kahoot. And that was an amazing experience, and I think as long as I have any influence on the use of technology here at this school, I will support that amazing use of gaming technology. On the other side of that spectrum, though, is the use of violent video games by students here on campus, those games that have a rating of an M or an A. And it is absolutely clear that the usage of those games on this campus is completely inappropriate. And so I want to make that very clear that no one on this campus should be playing any video games at that rating or first-person shooter games. There's just no use of that. Now there's this area in the middle that's a gray area, and that's something that I want to spend the next quarter figuring out where that gray area is, and I would like to involve the students in that discussion. So if you feel strongly about the use of video games on campus, their appropriateness, or whether they should be on campus at all, please speak to your student council representatives, because I'm going to be soliciting feedback from them as we develop a more clear policy. Thank you.
As some of you know, we have not had Principles of Acting class on campus this semester for the first time in a number of years. However, it is possible that we will be able to offer it next semester. So if you are a sophomore, junior, or senior, and you have the time in your schedule, and you want a little break from equations and experiments, and you would like to learn a lot about theater but have some fun at the same time, if you would see me or Mr. Raymond at your earliest convenience so we can see if it'll fit with your schedule.
All right, real quickly, boys who are returning to lacrosse, I know it's not our season yet, but I just need to meet with you briefly, and those who are interested in lacrosse, right outside in the circles on the grass for just a few minutes right after break. Thanks.
Okay, you've heard a couple of people say something this morning about being stressed about exams. I don't know why. Can't imagine that anybody would be. It should be a perfectly happy and relaxed time. But I do know that some people do approach this season with a little tension. I hope you enjoyed, as we did in my PATH group, an opportunity to talk with each other about strategies and how not to approach as well as how to approach exams. In fact, when the upperclassmen in my group were asked to give advice, they all said exactly the same thing. Don't freak out. So don't freak out. Okay? But here's another thing I think it's important for you to give some thought to. I have great confidence in all of you from an academic standpoint. I also want you to be healthy and happy and feeling safe. So this would be, you've also heard this morning, people make reference to family dynamics, to friends, to occasions of great happiness and great sadness. Science proves what we all know. Emotions can be more important than academics from time to time. If you come to school unhappy, somebody is mean to you, or things aren't going well, it's hard to focus on what you need to be doing to get through exam week. So just a plea. Think about one another. Take care of one another. Be kind. Help one another to get through this time. And try your best to avoid negative energy. And let's fill the school campus with the kind of positive support that you experience most every other day, and let that carry you through exams. Thank you.
I'm kind of not sure where to go after that, because that is essentially the most important thing that you can think about, is taking care of each other. And oftentimes when you take care of each other, it helps you to remember to take care of yourself. So I'm here to remind you that it is much more beneficial to you, rather than staying up to study those last couple of hours and to push it into 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. You're way better off, and it's much more productive if you will instead make sure that you're getting 9 1/4 hours of sleep. If you are resilient and rested and your brain is able to focus and to be flexible, you are far better off coming into exams rested than exhausted from generally a useless couple of additional hours. The other piece would be, remember to eat healthy meals, both breakfast, very important, and lunch, very important. Healthy, not sugar-loaded and all of that kind of thing. So essentially, I want Mr. Inman to have a chance to say his piece as well, but take care of yourselves, take care of each other during the next few weeks and beyond, I hope. Okay, never mind.